Hello students, this is a short video to help you navigate our Blackboard site. So let's take a look at our Blackboard site. Okay, so this is the Blackboard site that our Bio 120 section 919 has. On the left are the important buttons that you will be clicking on often, and you'll see a couple of things. First, announcements. Announcements appear right at the opening of our Blackboard site. I don't have any posted yet. They will be soon. There are a couple other buttons here that are important. The Begin Here button, probably the most important to start with. Then the Lab Exercises and Assignment button, Teams, Supplementary Material. Here's another button for Syllabus and Lab Safety. Information that looks like, for me, my office hours, COVID-related absences. That's going to be an important button, I believe, this January for sure, and a few other things. So first, when you open up our Blackboard site, begin with Begin Here. And in the Begin Here section are a number of documents that you should take a look at. The introductory videos will include a video on navigating our Blackboard site. You found it. So you'll start here. There's a short introduction to myself, and even one of my dogs, just for fun. Let's go back. After you've watched the video, you should be more confident in terms of what's around it. But also on the Begin Here button is the lab schedule and instructor information. This is the general lab schedule for the entire Bio 120 lab, all sections of it. All of us are going to be following this tentative lab schedule, and you can see that there are a number of exercises that we do each week. There are a couple of times each week when we have kind of an unusual thing, like week 2 on January 17, we have an online lab that week, so no meeting in person on that week. And you'll see spring break, of course, is no lab during spring break, and no labs during the final exam week. Other things that are important in this document include our point system. So you'll see that there are pre-lab quizzes. Each pre-lab quiz is worth 8 points. There are also worksheet assignments. Each worksheet is worth 14 points. Then there are a couple of miscellaneous things. Participation, those points depend upon, are you coming every week? Are you participating? Are you sitting on your phone, not listening, not helping your group? Are you coming in on time every week? Are you staying for the complete time? And those will be up to me to decide. And assessment of the lab as well. That's just a short assessment that you do to complete the lab. It's super easy. And then there's a quiz on lab safety. You have, you'll see that when we get to it. A couple other notes about attendance in lab. I have another note about attendance and about COVID-related illnesses. But basically, if you miss lab and it's unexcused, you will lose 5% of your lab grade. Your final lab grade goes down by 5%. That's huge. You never want to have an unexcused absence. In order to get your absence excused, you need to have a good reason for being absent. So if you are in quarantine or isolation because of COVID, that is an excusable absence if you provide documentation, a failed self-assessment that says you can't make it to class. And you email me and tell me that and give me that documentation. I don't need to reach out to you. You need to reach out to me. Or if you're sick with some other illness, or you're in the hospital, or maybe you have a car-related problem that's unavoidable, you're in an accident or something like that, God forbid, or you have a scheduled, you're going to you're in your best friend's wedding and you have to leave early, and we come up with a plan. Those would be excusable reasons. Oversleeping, emailing me a week later and saying, oh yeah, I was sick, doesn't count as an excuse, okay? My office hours, I'll show you where they are. And then there's a bunch of information about academic integrity and plagiarism, and disability support services, things like that, lab attendance and evaluation. And I will remind you of some of these things as well, okay? I think we're pretty close to done here. These are just the different professors that are teaching and what times and sections they're teaching. All right. This just gives you my information, my specific information. So we can click on that as well. So this is when we meet, and these are my personal information about my email, my office, and such. Okay. Okay, what else do we got in this Begin Here button? One of the things that we want you to do is download Excel from GVSU. It's a free program, but we'll be using it for graphing, so you'll want to get that as soon as possible if you don't have it. It's really under Microsoft Office 365 or something like that. And you can do that from here. And this is for later. Okay, so after you've watched the videos and you're ready to get started, you'll move on to the lab exercises button. The lab exercises has a folder for each week that we're in lab, and you can see those are listed. I have updated the first 4 weeks of lab as of this video time, so these weeks here have not been yet updated, and you can see the difference immediately, right, with the words and documentation here. So for week 1, every week you'll see sort of the same things. Week 1 has a little bit of extra. It's called Exercise 1 and Lab Safety. There's a whole folder on Lab Safety in week 1. And in this folder, we'll click on it, include 2 PowerPoints that you're going to be reading through, and then you're going to take a Lab Safety quiz. This quiz you should earn all 6 points on. You can take it and take it and take it until you get all 6 points. It will close a week after our lab gets started. You'll see that all of my due dates are either Tuesday nights at midnight or Fridays at 5. So Tuesday nights are always going to be our quiz dates. Whenever there's a quiz, a pre-lab quiz, it's always due on a Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. Whenever there's an assignment due, it's always Friday at 5 p.m. So this quiz, I give you an extra week to complete it. So you can learn safety for an extra week if you want to. But this quiz is due on a Tuesday night at midnight. So that's the first thing you have to do for week 1 is review lab safety. Then we get to kind of the document for the week. And so you'll see that there's a document. You'll see a quiz and assignment. You'll see these on every single week. A document, a quiz, and an assignment. And then there's sometimes some extra things. So this week we have an extra Excel worksheet. Oops, I need to have Excel on my computer, and I need to take my computer to class. And you'll need to watch this video as well. Okay, so in each week, what I typically recommend is opening up the document, click, and reading the document. Okay, sometimes there are links to short videos that you're going to want to read. This document's about the process of doing science. So there's a lot of background information. It's, really focuses on what's the scientific method, right? How did we come about? How did this scientific method come about? What are the steps? Do we follow this exactly when we do science? Here's an example, etc. And then at the end, if we get to the end of the document, there's information here about what we'll be doing when we get to lab. So here's like our basic procedure. What are we going to do when we get to lab? Here it is. All right. After reading your document, you're going to take a pre-lab quiz. The pre-lab quiz is not timed. There are 2 attempts for every pre-lab quiz. So you get 2 tries. And the highest grade is kept. And every pre-lab quiz is due the night before we have the lab. So this exercise 1 pre-lab quiz is due Tuesday, January 11 at 11:59. It's always due Tuesday night before our exercise, before we meet for lab. And you're going to take that. And then there's always a worksheet that you'll be completing during lab. And this worksheet assignment needs to be turned in here at this location, but I can click on my worksheet assignment to take a look at it. This is going to be in Google Docs as well. You're going to want, once you've opened up the assignment, you're going to want to make a copy of it so that you can put your own information into it. Right now it's listed as it's not editable. You can't edit my copy. That would be bad, right? So you need to make a copy of it so that you can write on your assignment, complete it. You're going to get this all done in lab, we hope. And then you're going to submit it. And we're going to submit it right on Blackboard. And you're going to submit it right here. You're going to click on this link itself to submit any assignment. You're going to click on the assignment link. It tells me when it's due. It's due on Friday, January 14 at 5 p.m. It's a Friday due date. And you're going to browse your files. You're going to submit it. And boom, it'll tell you, you'll get a notification that, hey, you've successfully submitted your first assignment. But you won't do that until after lab, right? Let's see what else we've got here under week 1. That's it. Okay, we're going to be using this Excel worksheet during lab. Now, if you turn to every single week, you will see, like if we go to the lab exercises and we go to, say, week 3, you'll see the same kinds of things: a document, a quiz, an assignment. All right, and then some other videos maybe to watch. All right, typically those are linked directly in the document as well. So this button you'll be using a lot. Every single week you'll be accessing the lab exercise and assignments button. Now, we also have a button called Teams, and I've assigned you to a team of 3 or 4 students to work with in lab. This will be your team. When you click on this button, you'll see your particular team. You'll be able to email them from here. Of course, I probably will want you to make a group chat so that you can access each other and ask questions of each other easily. So that's our team button. There's some supplementary material that you might find useful. So I've got some things on calculating means and standard deviations using a graphing calculator. This is something that maybe you don't know how to do. How to make graphs. How to run a t-test. So these are just some things that you can reference. Again, they're here under the supplementary material. And then there's a few other things. The syllabus and lab safety is really not different than what we saw in the Begin Here button. And then it says office hours. And my office hours are also on a button. I'm going to have office hours this semester from 9 to 10:30 on Monday and Wednesdays. And these will be virtual office hours. I will typically also be in person on Wednesdays. That is in my office on campus in 2290I of KHS, Kinsey Hall. But you can access me by clicking on the Office Hours button, and that will access a Blackboard Collaborate site that I should be on. So you'll just need to click on this button, the Office Hours button, all right? Or you could click here, either way. The COVID-related absence button is worth looking at. So I've had last semester, and I think we'll have a lot this semester too, a lot of questions. Should I go to lab or not? I have this situation. I've been telling students, when you have a question regarding whether or not you should come to class, it's well worth asking. I just don't always know the answer to it. So you should contact the COVID hotline, the Grand Valley COVID hotline, which is available 24/7. And discuss your symptoms, talk to them, and they will help you decide whether to come to class or not. And that's super helpful to me and to you. It gives you a lot less pressure. You don't have to make the decision. They can make it. And if you can't come to class, you're going to need to email me, let me know, send me a picture of your self-assessment that you failed because of whatever reason, you failed the self-assessment. And then we will give you a makeup for the week. We'll try to give you something that you can do to make up the points that you're missing. You'll still need to do the pre-lab assignments, the pre-lab quizzes. If you don't contact me, you come back 2 weeks later and you're like, yeah, I was gone, I had COVID, that's going to be hard for me to deal with. You'll need to tell me ahead of time or as soon as possible when you can't make it. Okay? And you can check your mail. You can email from here. You can check your grades. There are other tools on here as well, so you can take a look at them also. Okay, so I think that I've kind of walked you through the Blackboard site. I hope that it's understandable to you, and I will explain it again, or I will answer questions about the site and about the syllabus in class during our first meeting. Thanks so much. I'll get this thing turned on.